Okay, so before you get a sneak peek in my class today, I wanted to give you a little bit of the information or the things that have taken place behind the scenes before the students get to see a learning progression and a rubric today. So to kind of back up, on our computers we have in our PLC folders, each teacher has their own folder for their subject, and you're going to want to organize yours the way that you prefer. Mine is all of my standards are under guidance, and I actually have different types of standards. I have my American School Counseling Association standards, I have the ASCA Mindsets and Behavior standards, and I also have kind of taken on the 21st Century Iowa Core Employability standards. So I have those organized in my folder, as you can see, and you'll want to do the same with yours. If I click into my Iowa Core Employability ones, that's where I have started doing the entire process for all of my standards. So for this particular standard today, it's an Iowa Core Employability standard. It's a high school standard, and it's concept number 4. I don't do it in order, I do it in the way that I think best fits the students. You'll want to do the same. So before today, I have gone through the entire unpacking process for a standard. Choose a standard, I've identified the key terms and information, I determined the learning targets, then I determined the depth of knowledge or the rigor for each learning target. I brainstormed a ton of different instructional strategies that I can use to meet those learning targets. That's one of my personal favorite parts, to think about the different ways that you're going to meet those things and the cool things you can do with your students. I have scaled my learning targets. I have started thinking about assessment strategies, and then I developed a learning progression and a rubric, and that's what I'm going to be giving to the students today. So classes just started. This is second semester for me, and so I actually taught this standard first semester, and now I get to go back and kind of look at how it went the first time, make some changes to it. So I've done that, and now I'm ready to do it again better than I did the first time. So today the students are all going to be getting a folder that looks like this. I do that for them the first time so that they kind of know what I expect each time we start a new standard. I give them a folder. I have the learning progression on one side, and I have the rubric for that learning progression and for the standard on the other side. So they have everything in their hands every day and ready to go. The learning progression, as I will explain today, will be kind of like our steps that we take to meet the proficiency level for the standard. And the rubric then will tell them exactly what they need to do to show me proficiency, and if they choose to, go beyond proficient for this standard. So the standard today is demonstrate initiative and self-direction through high achievement and lifelong learning while exploring the ways individual talents and skills can be used for productive outcomes in personal and professional life. So there's a lot of stuff in there, and I'm excited to see how the kids react to what we're going to learn, and get excited to show me their level of proficiency. Okay, guys and gals, today I am going to be, as promised, giving you all your first learning progression for this class. So, real quick, let me just go over what you have. The purple sheet on the front is the learning progression. The blue sheet on the back is the rubric. Inside, I gave you an example of how I unpacked the standard. I'm sure you know what that lingo means, because I'm sure teachers have talked about unpacking standards so that they really get a grasp of what they're supposed to be teaching and what students are supposed to be learning. So if you care to go over that, please go ahead and do so. I won't provide that every time, but I just wanted to kind of give you a glimpse of the process that happens behind the scenes before I give you a learning progression and a rubric. So the standard says, demonstrate initiative and self-direction through high achievement and lifelong learning while exploring the ways individual talents and skills can be used for productive outcomes in personal and professional life. Okay, so I won't go into great detail about how I unpack this and the definitions I came up with and all of that, but I came up with 3 main learning targets that are going to be in our proficient category. But before we get to that you got it area, the proficient category, we need to do some foundational stuff. We've already started on one of them. This bottom one right here, understand the importance of life planning and goal setting. How do you think we met that? Our close read that we did. Why is life planning important? Okay, that's how we met that. So what I'm going to do at the end of today, with the exception if you were absent when you did that and you took part in our class discussion yesterday, I'm going to initial everybody's line right here. That is how I'm going to keep track of how you guys are progressing through the learning progression, okay? So I will give everybody a signature, my initials right there. And if we have time today, we'll get started on this. If we don't, it'll be first thing Monday. We're gonna start assessing our own mastery, assess one's own mastery of skills and talents. We will be doing that through a number of different interest inventories, skill inventories, personality tests, etc. It's super fun. It's one of my favorite parts of this class because you guys, your minds will be blown with the information that comes out of those, and you'll be like, how in the heck do they know me so well? It's really fun. From there, we'll take the information that we gather from that, and remember, those are our developing and foundational things. We have to get a grasp of that before we move into the proficient category. Then we will set and achieve high standards and goals for both personal and professional life, engage in the effective problem-solving process, perform assigned work without oversight, showing proof of using time efficiently, and then we'll go above and beyond, and I'll get into that a little bit more by the creation of a vision board. Now, this all probably doesn't make great sense to you right now because you're thinking, okay, those are pretty broad statements. I got more specific with the rubric, so that's what I'd like to concentrate more on today. Okay, so this is kind of like my lesson planning. This is how we're gonna proceed. This is how we're gonna progress through this, this standard. But the rubric is gonna tell you exactly what you need to do in order to show me proficiency in this standard, okay? So let's flip over to the blue page. And this is going to be how I track your progress. And if I assess you and you're in some of the categories approaching and some you're proficient, I'll highlight so that you can really know exactly what you need to do to keep moving up, okay? So the three main learning targets that I pulled out for your proficiency are: target 1, student will perform assigned work without oversight, showing proof of using time efficiently. How are you going to show me that? Go ahead and look to the proficient category, and it says student will perform assigned work without oversight and show proof of using time efficiently. How are you going to do this? You are going to do an assignment for me, and you are going to complete a time on task evaluation. But that's how you're going to show me that. You're going to show proof of using time efficiently based on that time on task. If you go beyond proficient in that one, you're going to analyze your time on task document. The next target, student will engage in the effective problem-solving process. In order to show me proficiency, you will engage in the effective problem-solving process in class. There is a question that I always ask, well, what if a student already knows how to do that? But I'm a little tricky here. I don't believe you have ever learned the 7-step process that I'm going to teach you, so I'm going to teach you the 7-step process, and then you're going to show me that you can do that in solving a problem. And finally, target 3, student will set and achieve high standards and goals for both personal and professional life. Again, in the proficient category, the student will set and achieve high standards and goals for both personal and professional life, utilizing the 7-phase goal-setting process that I will teach you, okay? So you probably hear a pattern here. I'll teach you some things. We'll do some where you're sitting back and learning from me, and then you will show me that you have learned those things and show me your proficiency level in those categories, okay? The beyond proficient is something that you can just take a look at, and you can see that they just kind of push you to go one step further, okay? So in the proficient one for learning target 1, you complete a time on task evaluation. To go beyond, you analyze that time on task evaluation. In the second one, you engage in effective problem solving. To go beyond, you will do everything that's in proficient, and you will engage in the process outside of class and report back to me on that. In the third one, student will set and achieve high standards and goals for both personal and professional life, utilizing the 7-phase goal setting. For Beyond Proficient, you will do exactly that, and show me proof of the changes that you have made based on